green light, go, go, go.
Hello? 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 There we go. Hello, hello? Hello, everybody, and welcome to round 3 of the ZRL Galaxy Tour. This is season 12 of the Galaxy Tour, and here we are in the beautiful, fast-paced, high-speed circuit of Barcelona in Spain. Wonderful track, lots of high speed, lots of straights, lots of pretty open corners. Obviously, there are a few tight ones, but lots of open and not much braking. So the faster you are, the faster you are. Am I right? Not much to talk about as of right now. Just some basic information here. about the race. It is a 45-minute race today, ladies and gentlemen, with one pit stop. Refueling is mandatory. And fixed fuel time, 25 seconds. Tire change is optional, and a 40-minute pit window will open up. Jose de la Paz is a new entry for this week. And strategy call today is tire or no tires at the pit stop. Save 5 seconds and maybe some track position by not opting to take tires, or do take the tires, make the pass on the track, get a little bit more, get a little bit less time on your lap, take some time off the laps. Obviously, we'll have the competition penalties put on here in a little bit. Those will go to the top 3, the podium places of the last race. So last race was Suzuka, beautiful circuit. Lots of yellow flags, lots of crashes last week. And the penalties would go to Gage Gonzalez, who won for the Centurions class, Sky Levernick, who got second, and Ricardo Rivera, who came in third. For the Legionnaires class, the penalties would go to Daniel Moderno, Kyle Easton, and Carlos Flores. So a couple of, just the competition penalties, nothing else besides that. We did have a couple of yellow flags and some couple of issues during last race. So it's interesting to see how that plays out. Obviously, we like to handle this as gentlemen here and not as a gender thing, just as a way to handle things here in racing and TELUS racing. We like to be respectful to other people, even the slower classes, as some may say. But you can still treat them with respect and as like a citizen, man. Like, they're still here, they're still a part of this amazing league that we have here, this amazing family. So we will solve up issues as need be, and it seems to be okay for now. As you can see, Curtis Rustin, we are following along on track here in the Lamborghini number 868. Good looking car, good blue and yellow, or blue and white with a little bit of orange on the side. Gives a nice touch, little smidge of that yellow. Gives a good cut, good touch. I like it. As we go for the helicopter cam, it's probably one of my favorite cameras to go by. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other guys in the field here. Focusing on Buderi. Buderi now, pretty quick, Simon. Really is quick. Good looking car too. That McLaren seems to be the more dominant car this year. We see a lot of faster guys in that McLaren. Obviously, no exception here. Feckler in that Mercedes AMG 484 is the car number there. A Canadian driver here with a best lap of 146, and that was his most recent lap. So, got his best lap in right now. We do have a yellow on circuit, trying to figure out where that is or what that could be. I cannot seem to find it at the moment. Oh, there it is. It is just Matthew Reed sitting on the track. That is the yellow, folks. Oh, let's go ahead and take a look at Sean Collins in that beautiful ZRL Porsche. Honestly, a beautiful car, representing our league well in a beautiful way. As you notice, the Galaxy Tour going for that Galaxy theme with that wrap, and then obviously the beautiful ZRL logo. That green and blue is a good combo, folks, with that pinch of white, just adds a nice little offset, a little alternative color. He's setting pretty good laps now, currently sitting 13th overall. And 10th in class. So not bad at all, just for practice even. Hoping to improve as it goes on and as we head into qualifying. Moving on, we've got some guys setting their first laps here. JJ Burr being one of them. As you guys know, he is a faster guy, obviously, in the sorry, was choking up a bit there. In the Centurions class, But obviously, so he's got that blue and orange as well. You know, good little mix, good little color combo there. That's what I like to call them. I like to call them color combos. But the blue and the orange, you know, that kind of Gulf livery type scheme. And it goes obviously fairly well with McLaren, as McLaren ran that Gulf livery in Monaco for the F1 team. Behind him, though, you can see him following pretty close, is Kyle Easton, probably one of the fastest Legionnaires drivers we have here. He was putting on a good display at Suzuka, dominating the pack. Had a mistake that led to a big accident in a 130R there, and it just ended his race. But he got to bounce back from mistakes, and that's what he's looking to do here today. Moving on to the field here, we've got Easton, as you said, right behind him. Just looking fast right now. His best lap at 144, his last lap at 145. Maybe more of a cool-down lap, or maybe he made a slight mistake. You never know. But currently sitting 5th overall and 2nd in his class. So good practice showing as of now. Going on, we got Christian Dube, and that's a fairly, it's a very vibrant, very, you know, beachish or like extravagant vibe coming off that livery there. Really beautiful. I'm still touching up on these livery guys. I know we're 3 races into the season, but you still gotta show it off. You know, these guys have worked not only off and their butts off on the track, but also for these liveries to make them look good, show it off to you guys watching and to all the other races. You know, that's my car. I'm here to win and looking good. So as you can see, these guys go for some go for like super tight, super like uniform almost type cars, but some go for these extravagant looks, and it's good to have a good mix. You know, it really shows some of the personalities between the drivers and some of their just overall like feels. You know, it's good to show and express yourself. Speaking of that, we have Sue, who is a pretty, like I said, those more uniform cars, and that navy blue with the glossy finish. Oh, it makes it look great. And then we'll go to more of a vibrant guy here with Matthew Reed's Lamborghini, number 29. The rainbow. That's what I gotta say on it. Almost every single color you can have in this game is on that car. And some people don't like it. I like it. You know, it really shows some character. You see the spot, you're like, oh yeah, that's Matthew Reed on track, because it's just so different. It pops like that. Obviously, he's got the ZRL logo, the stickers on that little side skirt there, so you know, representing the league as well. We already went over Rodane's livery a couple of weeks ago. I think that was week 1 at Silverstone, actually. But he's got the little orange and black. You know, it's a good combo. You know, I like a dark color with a more light color. Like, I like a dark blue with like a brighter red, or even a black with like a bright like a teal blue. Those like kind of my ways to go about making a livery or a uniform, whatever, for any sport. But obviously, he does like the same thing, but he wants an orange. So it makes a good pop on that black, and then the accent color of the white just really peaks, makes it all come together, you know. Go ahead here to Alberts. He does the same thing, but just with a little bit of a darker orange, you know, and a little bit of different design without the white, and just a little different like configuration of the livery, having the orange spread out more throughout the black and having less black, but it still looks amazing. And Dale Rodman Jr., DRJ, here in that blue and white Lamborghini. So kind of the opposite of what I said, going for that darker color with a whiter color of the pop. Well, he went with a whiter color and a kind of a mediocre color, you know, sitting right in the middle. You know, it's that middle line, that median, and then he went light, which actually looks pretty good. You know, those white rims going on that blue with that wide body kit of the Lamborghini GT3 cars. Up next, we have Matt Fender. I know I'm going to mess up his last name a lot, guys. I apologize in advance. But he's got that black, white, and green. Almost Xbox-like colors, if you know what I mean. But that green gives a good accent to that white and black combo. You know, it gives that good detail, get the good curvature of the car. And it kind of, you know, goes with the Lamborghini flow. They have that green, you know, that Lamborghini green. It really stands out for the brand as well as the driver. And look behind him, we have Carlos Flores, and that number 3, or that number 123, McLaren, a Brazilian driver, and has a nice little white and black, almost zebra-like color scheme. And then he's got that dark green, that sea green, and that purple, that violet purple right there. It looks really good. Good accent to the livery overall. He's got a bunch of sponsors on the side there, as he is a Pigeon Racing, you know. But obviously the McLarens are pretty heavy used throughout our league here, and it just really depends on who takes more advantage of the setups. That really sets them apart when you have guys racing in the same cars. Skylar Levernick is one of those guys with that more moderate, not super, that more uniform, you know, that not super extravagant livery, but it looks good. It's that navy blue, more of like a matte than it is glossy, but it really shows that he means business. You know, it's almost like a business suit type color, if you know what I mean. Like you show up to a meeting in that blue and you're ready to just take control. And that's what he's done. He's very consistent and very good on the track. Back-to-back second place finishes. Second place in Silverstone, second place at Suzuka, and he's in a solid position here in the standings. Obviously, like I said, second in Suzuka, second in Silverstone, puts him third place in the standings overall, and he's only behind Gage Gonzalez by 1 point, and only behind the leader, Ricardo Rivera, by 2 points. It is really tight in this Centurons class here. 2 points from first to third, so 2 points span that entire podium, ladies and gentlemen. We've already talked about Reed. Let's go ahead to talk about Kevin Kapelke. Obviously, he's got the rat, the mouse, whatever you want to call it. That's his YouTube logo as well. Obviously, he's got that bright yellow, really making his car pop, easy to spot, with that black accent in it. You know, it's a great car. I like that little red as well in there. So, shout out to Kevin Kapelke, for a great logo. Also, a great drive last week. Got in an incident and got spun, and then was off track, fought his way back on track, made it through the pit stops, and got 10th place to get himself a couple of points. Good drive all in all for the man. Let's go ahead and talk about Toby Yao, the fastest by standings wise in the Legionnaires class. As you guys now know, he is the leader. He is in first place, actually tied for first place with Daniel Moderno points-wise, but has a better overall finishes. Like Sky Levernick, back-to-back second places at Silverstone and at Suzuka. So good performances, good consistent performances for him. Daniel Moderno falls behind with 81 points, but 5th place at Silverstone and 1st place at Suzuka. Kyle Easton in 3rd place with 64 points, 1st place at Silverstone, and 16th in class at Suzuka. Obviously having that big incident that led to a DNF. Still all close, so if Easton has a good race here, or win, or in the podium, he can really close that gap, really put himself right back in that championship fight. And let's go on. He really has that Golf livery. Matter of fact, he has the Golf on the car, as you can see right there on the hood. Perfect cutaway for that one. That blue and orange too, with that little design, you know, that little flare, the graphics on that livery look pretty good. You know, that dark blue, little accent colors as well. Good look all in all. I do like it. We've already talked about Sean's car, beautiful looking car. Let's go ahead and JP Belanger. Obviously that nice gray, you know, it's a sleek gray almost. And then he's got that white. Well, the white, what do you ask? What are those designs? They look kind of sporadic and weird. Well, they are almost every single racetrack in this game. You got Spa there, Silverstone, Monza, anything you want, it's on there. It's a nice little white, little different approach to a livery really, but it's very special and it looks phenomenal in my opinion. He's got that red on there too, those red mirrors and the red backing there, right above the diffuser, make it look pretty good. Good little pop to the car. We've gone over a couple of these cars already, except for Cobra here. KP right here with that white and a red and black. That red, that accent, that white and oh, I'm sorry guys, that is not KP. That is not. That is my bad, guys. That is actually that is actually a different Kenneth here, different Ken. We got a lot of same names here. But anyways, he's got that white, that black, and that red, you know, really stand out here. Currently sitting P15 in standings with P15 and P14 as results with 31 points here, tied with a couple other guys with Christopher Larson and Richard McSharpenberry for 14th. All in all, good livery. Those red rims, those dark red violet rims, almost violet, quite more of a rose color, really make a good pop on the car. I really do like that livery. We've already gone over some of these guys in the pit lane, but I'm not Jimmy, and boy does that livery pop. That pink, that glossy pink, really stands out between most cars. He doesn't have a bunch of sporadic colors. He has one solid color that's bright and it pops. And then he's got those blue rims. Those blue rims accent the pink amazingly, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Looks good, feels good, runs fast. That's what's important. Daniel Moderno here in that greenish yellow Lamborghini. Pretty good looking car, in my opinion. We've gone over most of these guys already, just trying to find something we have. I believe we have found that in Carl Moore. Looks a lot like the McLaren IndyCar liveries with that black, that orange, and that teeny pinch of blue in there to accent that. All in all, a good car. Looks great, runs fast, like I've been saying. He is in that McLaren number 117, currently sitting P20 overall in the timings. A couple of these guys we've already talked about coming down pit lane, distracting the camera a little bit. But here is Ricardo Rivera, a Cuban driver with that beautiful Puerto Rican driver, my apologies. And that beautiful yellow and blue and white and black. Couple, obviously 4 colors. I believe that's the most that I've said so far. But that yellow really is a good accent to this white and black. And then that blue also kind of accents the black. It's that darker on darker. And then that light color on that lighter color as well. Honestly, a beautiful car. So we get the really far away shot. See if we can get a better shot for you guys here. Not really one I can find of that car, but all in all, great livery. Oh, well, let's go take a look at Glenn Pino. Got 3rd place, I believe, last time out in, or 4th place, my bad, my apologies, in Suzuka for the Centurions class. But really good livery, that red and black, kind of a galaxy theme on that one as well. In that Legionnaires class, you know, really standing out. Probably one of my favorite liveries personally. It's got a good little accent. It's got, obviously, he plugs his YouTube on there. Go make sure you subscribe, like a couple of videos, help him out a little bit. But honestly, it looks great. You know, that white rims, the white rims as well, really make that one pop. So we are just about to hit 5 minutes left in practice. I'm going to go ahead and put it on one of the faster guys on track right now, or arguably the fastest guy on track, in Skylar Levernick. I'll be right back. I'll go grab some water to prepare for qualifying in the race. I'll see you guys in just a minute. I'm out. Hello? Hello? There we go. Hello, hello everybody. I am back as we head to qualifying here. Let's go ahead and learn a bit more about this track real quick. As we wait for people to head out. It is a wet qualifying here. So a bit interesting, you know, maybe somebody's big mistake, which definitely we do not want to have. Wait to see the first guy to leave the pits, to hop on them, to walk through the lap here, and it's gonna be seems to be KP. If I get, there we are, KP here in that Acura or that Honda NSX. My bad, my apologies there. Number 84 here. As you get through this track, it's obviously very evident that it is windy. You know, it kind of turns back in on itself and likes the high speed. Obviously, in the rain, it differs because these longer, wider corners really have to control the throttle a lot more to make sure you're not gonna oversteer or understeer under braking into a barrier or off track that could cause damage and really hurt your race here. There's a couple of longer straights too. Obviously, the straight down into turn 1, that chicane, the right-left chicane there, which is a great overtaking opportunity. And then this one as well into this sharp left-hander. Those are the longest straights on the track, and they lead to drafting and some overtake opportunities as you make dives down the inside or try to make it work around the outside on this track. Then you got this small right-hander kind of, you know, round out all the windy parts to the chicane, and then into the last right-hander and down the straight. So let's go ahead and right on board with KP as he starts the first qualifying lap here at Barcelona. The dry line is not going to be available at the moment, so it's going to be difficult for his lap time to be very competitive, but that's just how it's going to be. Anyways, breaking down into turn 1, this right-left chicane, pretty wide. You go in, you get that curb, and you let it ride on out back to the left. Getting right back on the power, and then you have this long right-hander as the driver. It's hard to modulate your throttle, especially in the wet, to stay on track, but beyond that limit at the same time. Then you've got this little mini straight off that corner into this right-hander as it loops back in on itself as you see that Lamborghini go a bit deep and off track there. Anyways, continuing on the gas, getting as outside to the curbs as possible. Want to avoid those outside curbs in the wet. Want to avoid almost all curbs in the wet because they will make you spin with that bit more slipperiness, you would say. Then you have this little left-right chicane as well. After you come out of the little turn in, turn back in, those two little hairpins, before you get on the power for this 90-degree, really fast right-hand corner. You get out as wide as you can out on those curves and down the straight into that sharp left-hander. On the brakes, hard, spotting your braking mark, your braking point, and turning in. Getting right back on the power. It's a pretty narrow corner, so it's hard to get the timing of the power good. And then you have this little kink left, and then this long hook hairpin back to the right before you have that sharp 90-degree right-hander, and then into the chicane. As I speak, that's that sharp 90-degree right-hander, and he's heading down to the chicane right now. Braking, turning left, turning back right on the power. You really have to nail your throttle control here. As you come down this, you want the maximum speed you can have as you go down to the finish line. Obviously, first one across the line, first one to put in a time, puts up the fastest time. Oh, somebody's spinning back there. Who is that? That was a Mercedes. Let's take a look if we can find him. Lots of cars going off, struggling to adapt to these conditions. I don't think we're going to be able to find him, ladies and gentlemen. I think it was a Mercedes that went off back there. Maybe a Porsche. It might have been Glen Pino, but I am not for certain on that. Anyways, let's go take a look at Daniel Moderno, as he comes into this turn one. Let's see how he executes the corner. How much curb does he take with the adjustment of the rain? Takes a good amount of curb, just a little bit. Not getting too gritty here on these early laps in qualifying. I want to be conservative, make sure you get a time in that banker time. Coming through this longer, wider right-hander. He getting all the way out there, using all the track possible. Coming right back down to this heavy braking zone, a tricky braking zone. Maybe a little bit deep, but not too bad with these adjusting conditions. Another yellow flag out here. Seems somebody has gone deep. We'll go ahead and jump to Kapelki now. The number one car. Trying to adjust these conditions, even as a top, better driver, is very confusing. Because sometimes, you do all your laps, you think it's going to be dry, you think it's going to be a drier race, not necessarily a wet qualifying. Can really mess with, as I speak, a little lock up there that leaves him way out on the gravel. It's hard to adjust, if you've worked so hard and you've got it almost muscle memory of where you're going to brake. It's harder to make the adjustments that you need. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ken Smith here. The number 555 Lamborghini. Currently in 4th place, Lovernick has taken the number 1 spot. As expected, he has been one of the most consistent and fastest drivers in the league as of now. So let's take a look at how he takes this approach. Currently in 5th place, he's got knocked down another spot by Gonzalez, jumping up to 2nd. See how he's adjusting to this rain. The track is wet, as you can see in the top right-hand corner. The wind is moving from the driver's side to the passenger side, and now it will be behind him as he heads down here. At about 5 kilometers per hour, the track temperature is 14 degrees Celsius, and in 10 minutes it will just be cloudy. So there's no more rain falling down at the moment, so we might see a dry line start to form here in the next lap or two of qualifying. Take a look at this navy blue livery. Almost blends in with the track, with the color of the track while it's wet. We see him come down into that sharp hairpin there and bring it out into the rest of Sector 3. It really looks beautiful though with this darker coloring. Coming to that final chicane now. Going to set his lap. This will be his first lap set of qualifying. On the power. Controlling the power all the way out on that curb. Coming to the line. Clocks it in. That's 21st place. Currently last place full time set, but that's his first time set. He has plenty of time to improve and make adjustments as need be. Let's go and take a look at Christian Dube. Here currently in 5th place overall, in that number 71 car, that AMG Mercedes. The Canadian driver here in the middle of Sector 2. That left hairpin as we have a car go off ahead of him. Oh, and he comes over back on track. That might hurt the lap time of Christian here. And that sucks, obviously not the safest rejoin, but sometimes you gotta deal with the cards you're dealt, That's how most car games work, actually. But we'll go ahead and switch the camera angle for you guys. Let's take a look at that livery as he comes down into Sector 3. Pretty much your breaking point is the start of Sector 3. That's how I see it, at least. And as you can see, he's now heading around that left and then that right back all the way over that long right-hander into the sharp 90-degree left-hander before he hits the chicane with the driver of Carlos Flores right ahead of him. Go ahead and take a peep at Flores. I will finish the lap first. You'll be able to see both cross the line here as they're so close together. Maybe that giving that advantage to Christian, giving that draft a little bit. Flores does improve by 0.02 of a second on that lap, and Christian Dube sets the best lap of his of the qualifying on that lap as well. So maybe that draft is helping. As you can see now, it is partially cloudy. Not all that cloudy. You just take a look at that top right where you can see the weather. So the sun is out just a little bit. That means this track will really start to dry up now. Let's go ahead and take a look and see if we can find our current pole sitter, Gage Gonzalez. Well, we have Skylar Levernick currently going and about to finish the lap, actually. That right 90-degree angle into the chicane here. Left, then to the right. Back on that power. Let's see where he puts up. Will he go pole after this lap? 4/10 down on the power. Maybe a little late on that power. Didn't really use all that track. Improves to P2, only 0.02 of a second slower than Gage Gonzalez. There we are. We have Gage now. He's going slowly. Maybe just trying to stay out the way of some people. Maybe went off track here. But let's have a look inside these cars. You know, with the spray of the car ahead, it kind of, you know, really affects that windshield. And you'll see their wheel adjustments to how slippery it is. You know, this is just more of a cool down lap. Maybe he's even going to the pits here, which is what I believe to be true. But let's go look at Rivera, currently P3, as he's about to finish a lap here. That was obviously an out lap there, as it was 2:48, 2 minutes and 48 seconds compared to a 1 minute 50 second, his best. Let's go ahead and take a look here. As the sun's come out, you can see it better from the driver's angle. You can see that glistening water on the curbs. You can see this dry line really starting to form. You see where there's not these puddles. Drivers will try and stay in that, you know, have a bit more grip than those puddles. And the spray is not bad due to this dry line being formed and nobody being in front of him, and there's no rain currently coming down. So wipers really not needed at the moment. If it starts to rain again, maybe, oh, a couple of slips there. A little snaps as he hits those puddle spots, as it's still not a completely dry line yet. And you'll see it on the curb as well. Like I'm saying, those curbs get slippery when wet. They give you grip when they're not wet, but when they are wet, it's the exact opposite. It's like a slip and slide, you know? Rubber. That rubber gives you that grip, and once you get water on it, you go sliding. Some call it fun, and some call it craziness. It depends on your age, really, mostly. But, yeah, those curbs change a bunch. Pick out your braking marker and turn it in for this sharp corner. It's super late to get on the power there, just because it's so sharp and tight. You can't really get on with any decency or hurry up, you know. Anyways, to the right-hander 90-degree, and then into the chicane, nearly ending up the lap. Here he goes to the left, now to the right, and on the power into the final corner here. Is it dry enough to go flat out? Maybe a 75% lift, but nothing much as he comes across the line. Goes P2. Sets a new fastest lap there, 149.4 on the dot. 0.400 follows that. So a good lap for him as opposed to P2, 0.6 behind, or 0.06 behind Skylar Levernick. But Gonzalez comes across the line. To go P1 there, improving to pole. He's got JP Belanger ahead of him there, and the spray, not bad at all really for a driver ahead. Might have to use the wipers once this lap. That's how little the spray is right now with that dry line forming. He pulls off the side, getting ready to head back to the garage after a good lap, puts him on pole. We have 1 minute and 5 seconds left in qualifying, people. Not long at all. Take a look here at Jesu in that navy blue. It's not as blended as it was earlier with that dry line now being formed. Let's go ahead and take a look at Easton though. One of the fastest drivers in the Legionnaires class here. Currently P2 overall in class, P10 in total out of everybody on track. So beating a couple of them Centurions in his position right now. Anyways, that number 87 Mercedes maybe going for his final lap or pulling off, calling it an end. An end as he is behind him by just about a tenth of a second, about half a tenth of a second behind the pole sitter in class. go ahead and see as we can see some of these guys finish up. Carlos Flores finishes his lap. It's a 151.22, sets his best lap there. And behind him is Ricardo Rivera, who set a 149.212. That's his best lap as well. So the drier the track got, the time's increasing, which is what we expected. Will these guys go for another lap, or are they calling it quits here? Whatever they're doing, they're not really super in dirt on this lap, as Ricardo Rivera pulls over, ends it, calls quits for qualifying. Kapelki comes across as at a 149.4. Does not set it on his last lap. Well, he set a 149.485 instead to a 149.09. So, not his fastest on that last lap here. As almost everybody's into the pits now, a couple of stragglers out here. We'll go ahead and find those as they bring in their laps, or as they kind of pull off and call it quits. But here comes I'm Not Jimmy. Comes across the line after that warm-up lap. A 150.6 on that lap. His best is a 150.3. 7th overall and 7th in class, in that Legionnaires class here. The McLaren comes across now as well. And that is Levernick coming across one last time. A 149.410. Not his best time. His best time a 149.3. Did not improve there. But here comes a couple other guys here. KP comes across. Doob comes across as well. Not set his personal best there. And the session is now officially over, folks. Let's go ahead and return to the garage and take a look at these timetables here. Taking pole position after a win last week in Suzuka, it's Gage Gonzalez. And second is Rivera, and in third is Skylar Levernick. Very consistent driver, like I've been saying for a while now. He is second or third overall with 2 second place finishes in back-to-back races. As you can see, this orange here means they have not made their pit stop yet. That will go green once they hit their pit stop. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top 3 in the other classes here, or in the separate class, the Legionnaires class. In first place is Carlos Flores with the pole position. In second place is K. Rustin. Good improvement there for him. And third place is Murdano. And in fourth place is Easton. I expected Easton to be a little bit higher, maybe taking a more conservative qualifying approach, just adjusting to this this rain here. As we have about 3 minutes before the race starts, this 45-minute race, it looks to be heavy rain. Heavy rain until about 30 minutes, where it's going to lighten up to just cloudy. So it seems to be a wet race here. What tires will people go for? Will they go for the inters or more of the wet tires? Race control now doing their job, adding those penalties on. And let's go ahead and remind you of the standings real quick. For the Centurions class, your top 5, Ricardo Rivera with 83, Gage Gonzalez with 82, and Sky Levernick with 81. Following them is Aberno Pena with 65, and Kenneth Portis, or KP, with 56. Hopping over into the next class, the Legionnaires class, we got Toby Yao with 81, Daniel Moderno with 81, Kyle Easton with 64, Rondi Flecker with 63, and Sean Collins with 57. Here we are for Spain. Usually all sunshine and rainbows in Spain, but not today. Not today. It is rainy, and dark. It's going to make it interesting, though, for our drivers here, as Gage Gonzalez and Ricardo Rivera line up side by side, waiting for that green flag to drop. We're waiting for the formation lap to start as well. About 1:30 left to go. I'm going to shut up a little bit, drink some water. You guys enjoy the views. am back here as we are about to start. We have 30 seconds left before this formation lap. Wishing everybody at home a great day and a good night here. This is more nighttime for me. I'm in the East Coast with that East Coast time. It's almost 9:30 at the moment. Here we are. We get to choose a driver to start with, and I'm obviously going to start taking a look with Gage Gonzalez. Obviously, the pole sitter. We'll see how he gets off the line. Then we'll take a look at the pack and see the battling, the fighting, and all that. As we start this formation lap, I would like to give a shout out to our sponsors, SimGrid and Advanced Sim Racing. Thank you for sponsoring this league, and they have some great stuff. SimGrid is the website that we use to keep track of our standings, put up our schedule, and pretty much anything else with that simple information, and then all those points and penalties and their drivers. So you can go ahead, learn about them, see their names, see where they're from, see what car they drive, what number of the cars, etc. And then Advanced Sim, where they make great sim racing materials, anything and everything you can think of, it's pretty much there. Great company. Please go support our sponsors. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. We start this formation lap as we get the little view of the track and how wet it is. The dry line, non-existent at the moment, just because of how hard it's raining, and we haven't done many laps on it. The drivers, some opting to go outside that dry line, maybe hurt their competitors a little bit. As you can see, Skylar loving it, going outside there. Kapelke doing the same thing. So maybe trying to give their competitors a bit of a disadvantage if they try and go for an overtake early in the race. Not really drying up as much as it could, or maybe setting up that line to be a bit more dry if they go for an overtake. You know, give themselves that much more grip, which can mean the difference of the overtake or the difference between crashing or not as well. So formation laps are always important to warm up the tires, warm up the brakes. If you see guys weaving side to side, they're probably trying to warm up the front tire. If you see guys braking, going on the gas while braking, and then or accelerating rapidly after braking, it's to warm up those rear tires and to warm up the brakes. You know, when you get those brakes and tires into the optimal temperature, they can give you upwards of a second a lap. It really makes a big difference. So it's important to get your tires and brakes into the optimal temperature window. Anyways, here we come towards Sector 3. These guys are about to start going side by side. As you can see, them kind of file in, slow it down, go side by side here. Ghosting is on for this formation lap. Obviously, it's a separate sector from any damages. Like I mentioned earlier, you'll see that orange 1 besides the driver's names until they make that pit stop. Then that orange will go green, and signifying that they made the pit stop and they are good to continue for the rest of the race. Here they go. Line up side by side here as we head into that 90-degree right-hander. Let's go ahead and take a look through the pack, make sure they are all behaving well, and it seems they are. Everybody's catching up, getting side by side as they should be. A little chaotic back here, but we will figure it out as we head out now of the chicane. Just waiting for that green flag to drop, waiting for that signal to get going. Here they are. Gage Gonzalez in front, that inside line as we head to the line here around that final corner, waiting for that green flag to drop. Everybody else catching up, getting in position, getting ready to race. Those guys in the Legionnaires class, really going to be a tight one for them. And there's the green flag, and we're off. Engines roaring, engines screaming, and tires rubbing against that racetrack here. Less friction as always with the wets, with a wet track and all that. But here we go into turn 1. Any moves looking here as we look back on the pack. We go 3 wide, deep back, and a break from the leader, and nothing. Skylar Levinek holds speed 3 as well, but under great threat from Kapelke. Going ahead to take a look through the field now. We have Christian Dube making a move, and Reed and Carlos Flores fighting here. Let's go ahead and take a look on board with Carlos Flores, see if we can see his move as he dives down the inside, turning to the right. Can he get it done? Can he get it done, folks? It looks like he's passed. And he is. And he is. Brilliant move. Oh, Reed goes a bit on the grass there, but will he send it back up the inside? No, he's side by side with Murdeno behind. Forcing Murdeno a bit wide, but he's good. He will hold position. Reed will have to concede. Oh, no! Oh, no! Big accident behind. Big accident behind. Was that Easton? Easton made contact. I'm not 100% sure on who it was, but it was a Lamborghini of some sort. Let's see if we can find them. Oh, and another one. Another accident. It's chaotic. A chaotic start here, folks. Oh, my goodness. Juan Alves, a McLaren, gets involved in something. Up here in the lead, they keep it pretty clean, but in the rest of the field, it was contact. A little bit of bumper cars back there, but it's what happens when you're adjusting to the sweat track with the dry line not totally there, you know. These top four, though, super close, super compact. This should be tight racing all night long here. As we come to the end of the first lap, Gage Gonzalez running that last corner held his lead. Ricardo Rivera held second place, and Skylar Levernick holding third, with Kapelke following them in fourth. All of them hold positions here, but it got crazy. Levernick, though, sets the fastest lap and is in the draft here of Ricardo Rivera. He's going to go to the outside as they go on the brakes. Holding it inside, Ricardo Rivera just outbrakes him a little bit. Cannot quite get the move done here. Can he get a better exit, though? Maybe capitalize on the line that he forced Ricardo to make. Does not look like it. Good attempt here, but the fastest lap now goes to Flores in that white McLaren. The pit window is open, ladies and gentlemen. Will anybody make a stop this early? I doubt it. I think they'll wait to see if the track adjusts, as we are still in this heavy rainfall, so the dry line will really not form until we slow down, until the rain slows down here. But take a look here as Daniel Berdano looks to make a move, maybe. Pull out to the side a bit there, but realized he was too far back. Continuing through the order here, you've got Ken Smith here, trying to make a move, trying to work his way back up after a bit of a rough qualifying. Trying to see if he can get his way back up. But Albert's now in that Mercedes, trying to take the lead here, fighting with another Mercedes, actually, of Flecker here. He's trying to get that position of P14 back. We got a couple guys trying to fight their way up here in class and in total overall. But as we stand, as we head to the second lap now, as Gonzalez and Levernick and Ricardo are all fighting. Levernick and Ricardo are side by side, and Kevin Kapelke takes advantage, and he's going to move in there as well. This is a good fight between all these guys. They are side by side now behind Gage Gonzalez. It's Ricardo Rivera with Kapelke on his outside into the braking zone. Will Ricardo Rivera make a dive up the inside here? As they head brake, you can hear them downshift. Ricardo Rivera on the inside. They're side by side. Who gets on the power better? It seems to be Kapelke. Kapelke's going to overtake and get into P2 in a matter of 2 corners. Great driving by Kapelke. Levernick sadly does not take is the loser in that one, you know, losing both those positions. But look at him now, he's trying to go around the outside of Ricardo Rivera here into turn 4. It doesn't really work that well with that dry line, or that drier line compared to the wet, non-racing line here. But oh, they touch! Oh no, they touch! Oh, and he goes into Kevin Kapelke! Oh, this is disastrous! Disastrous! No, Skylar Levernick hits the rear quarter panel of Ricardo Rivera. Ricardo Rivera goes sliding into Kevin Kapelke, dropping Kapelke down into 6th place or 5th place, folks. This is, oh man. Will we have any damages on those cars? Let's go ahead and take a look, see if we can get a better angle. There does not seem to be any damage on Ricardo Rivera's car or Levernick's car. Let's go ahead and take a look at Kapelke's car here. Does not seem to be, maybe some slight, oh no, he's got some damage on his side and on the rear. How will this affect him the rest of the race in these tricky conditions already? Man, he was racing so good too, just took advantage of a couple of overtakes. That really sucks. See how he bounces back though. He's just got to recoup, get his emotions in check, and then he'll lock it down and see what he can do. He does have that fastest lap, by the way, so there's at least that going for him at the moment. But Gage Gonzalez right now is loving life. Them fighting, them forcing each other, them hitting each other, has just opened the gap wide open for him. He has nothing to fear. Nobody right behind him right now. Let's take a look at Levernick. Levernick around right in the bumper. Moves to the outside as we head on the brakes here. Going around the outside. giving Ricardo Rivera a bit of a squeeze, but it works. He's through. Back on the power into the long right-hander here. And he's going to make it through for the overtake. Back to P2. Gonzalez now takes fastest lap on the last lap. Not having to worry about any traffic behind. Really did help his case. Let's go take a look at Kapelke now. Looking to make a move or get right up on the bumper of KP. As he gets on the throttle here. Not much room to make that overtake there. Didn't really have the, wasn't really close enough to spread out here. But he's going to inch his way back in. Get closer and go for a move here. I did not mention KP's livery during practice, but it does look great. That white, blue, and gold. You know, that gold, more that accent color, as that blue and white really takes over more of the car. But it's a nice touch. He's got a couple sponsors on there, a couple of his guys that he knows, and of course the Zealous Racing League logo, making us look good. Now here we go, talking about overtakes. He's gonna go to the inside, looks but doesn't go, look but don't touch. But it looks like KP goes a bit wide. This could mean the difference between the overtake and not. He gets a good exit by going wide, but can he hold it on? As Kevin Kapelke is right up on him now. We'll see what happens here into turn 1. That's my guess, if anywhere, the overtake is going to take place. As you can see, they're getting pretty close into the braking zone now. Getting even closer. But Kapelke is also under threat from Dube behind. Here we go, into the final corner. To the right. He's going to be drafting him all the way down this straight. Who gets the better exit? It looks to be Kapelke here in the draft, in the spray. How is it affecting him? Well, you guys can see right now. It is affecting him a lot. That wiper going off as hard as it can. He moves to the inside. On the brakes, he brakes later. Can he make it stick? Down to the gears as quick as he can, and they touch! No! KP into the back of him, and KP spun around. Kapelke, though, still holds a position and goes way off track. Will this be a penalty? Will this be an incident? And he's sliding. He probably has some major damage now. He's got hit in the rear and in the side earlier in the race. Oh, it's not been his day, but he moves up to P4. Talking about not having a good day, let's go ahead and take a look at KP. Where does he end up in all this? Oh man, he really is moving down as he moves down to 16th, 18th overall is his final thing. And let's see, is there any damage on that car? There doesn't look to be any major damage on that front end, which is a good thing. Anything on the side that I can see? There isn't much. Tough for him, man. Just got on the power a bit too early there during that overtake attempt from Kapelke. Anyways, focusing back up here towards the top, we have a new fastest lap leader, and that is Skylar Levernick. Ricardo Rivera is kind of getting dropped at the moment. He's maybe conserving tires. As Skylar Levernick really closing in that gap to Gage Gonzalez, who was on his dream island a minute ago, is now being invaded by a couple of pirates in the form of Skylar Levernick in that blue Ferrari. Not Frank Ocean, because it's not a white Ferrari, it's a blue one. As he's coming down the straight, too far to make a move, but definitely enough to get a draft. As we have JP Belanger coming out of the pits very early. JP's going to stay out the way of these two guys racing, being very respectful. Much appreciated. Shout out to JP Belanger for that one. Anyways, Skylar Levernick now as they head around turn 3 here, that wide bending curve, is closing that gap to Gage Gonzalez. The gap was 5/10, but has now moved up to 6/10, so Gage Gonzalez putting a little bit of room between them. But as I say that, it's back down to 4.9 tenths of a second, so that gap is closing. Levernick held that fastest lap. As of now, nobody seems to be overtaking that fastest lap. Tough break for a couple of drivers, a couple of wrecks there, sadly forcing a couple guys to take losses in this race. As we continue on here, we have another yellow flag. Another yellow flag somewhere in the field. Can I find it? Let's see. The yellow flag goes away, but it was Reed. It was Reed off track. Matthew Reed went off track there at the beginning of Sector 2. Oh, man. Bright colors make it easy to find out who it was after I spotted the car. But not going good for him. These two conditions are treacherous. We still have a rain. It's not a heavy rain, but it's a moderate rain here. So the dry line is really not forming still with all these guys. As we're talking about guys in the dry line, we have somebody going off the dry line, and that is KP trying to make a move here on Sean Vincent here. Let's see how it goes. As they head into this right-hander, a little bit of a loss of the back end there on the brakes. Down into the chicane, no move there. The move will probably come in the first corner on the power into the final corner. You can hear the lift, obviously not going all the way off the throttle, but maybe a quarter throttle applied there. Anyways, back on the gas in the draft of the Ferrari ahead in the Honda, getting closer and closer. We have a car coming out the pit lane. Will that play a factor? No, they fly right past him, no problems at all. Into the braking zone. Will he outbrake him? He does not outbrake him. Not going for a really unrealistic lunge there. Going to concede and see if we can get him on the next lap or two. Obviously, the smart decision in my eyes there. Not willing to force anything. He still might have some damage from the last incident, but we'll see how that plays out for him for the rest of the race. Matt Finder, though, in front of them, definitely under threat from these two really fast racers. But props to Sean for holding off KP there, as they're in separate classes. There's no mandatory blue flags for the separate classes, that they are still running the same cars, so they are definitely allowed to fight and battle with opposing classes. Anyways, Fender goes a bit wide now, and it might be 3 wide heading into this corner. Sean on the grass as they head into the right-hander side by side with KP. KP's going to take that position in that fast right-handed corner. Can he take the one ahead of him too, as we join on board with him into this sharp left-hander? And Reed looks like to make a move on Sean. How will this work out for him? Let's go ahead and take a look. It does work. Oh no, he spins. Sean spins in the background. We can see it if you were looking at the rear view mirror. Where does he end up? He's still on the track. Still on the track, trying to stay out the way. Right now, kind of just outside the racing line. He's going to go ahead and get off the track now since it's clear and get back on to continue racing. Oh, man. Just a bit too much power there in this wet on that not dry line with the overtake attempt, forcing him off the line. And just a little bit too much throttle. Just snap of oversteer spins him right around. As you can see, we have a board broken over there. Somebody trying to take the F1 route and not the GT route here. Anyways, let's take a look at the guys who have made pit stops as of right now. It's Jay Su. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'll see if I can get in contact with him to pronounce that right. In that blue, navy blue car, beautiful looking livery. He is already made his pit stop, as I said. Then ahead of him, in that pit stop phase, is Kyle Rustin. And then JP Belanger, who we saw come out just a couple laps ago. Here's Rustin as he's trailing behind that Mercedes of Martin Alberts. And here is JP Belanger, who is behind the Audi of Lucas Dijkstra. That's a fun one to say, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this top three now. Ricardo Rivera really made inroads on these guys who have been kind of running away for a while now. Sky Levanik has gotten back to first place, but Ricardo Rivera just took the fastest lap. Speaking of gaining in, he gains in big time. The rain has stopped, and this is making the track improve constantly. He has that damage on his side and is still putting in the fastest lap. That is impressive driving from the man. Let's see how bad the spray is at the moment from behind these cars. It doesn't really seem to be that bad as the rain has stopped now. The wiper will have to go for probably another lap or two maybe, but then it should be off, you know, and then we should have a drier track. As you can see, it's already drying up dramatically as these guys are running through without any rain to come back and cover it up. Let's talk about Doob here. Doob kind of has a good gap at the moment. Kapelke, though, who got spun and was in that incident, not to his own fault at all, was going to the corner, and Ricardo Rivera and Sky Levernick made contact and it's caused the Skylar Levernick to slide sideways straight into the side of Kapelke, but he has recovered well. Up into 5th place overall and 5th place in class for the Legionnaires. He is moving and is closing in that gap to Doob, who is currently in 4th place. All in all, very competitive race car driver and a very quick race car driver. A lot of respect going out to him for getting his emotions in check quick and putting back all the focus on the pace. Speaking of fastest lap, Gonzalez just put it right back up, saw the threat from behind of Rivera, and puts in his own fastest lap. The pit window has been open, and we have another driver coming out of the pit lane. And who was that? That was Carl Murr, the first of the people to create the pit stops now, to make the pit stops, and the first of the Centurions to make that pit stop. JP Belanger, the first of the Legionnaires to make that pit stop. Let's take a look at the timing sheets real quick, as we can see the total lap times. The fastest lap goes to Gonzalez, and the total time of the race so far is Levernick, who's in first. Obviously, he has the shortest because he's leading the race. There's a lot to say about those, really. As these Centurions are quick racers, and Levernick needs this win. He's right behind these guys in the standings, trailing the leader by 2 points and trailing second place by 1 point. This win can really boost him up into first place, and if he gets that fastest lap, it only extends his lead possibilities in the Centurions division. Let's go and take a look at the Legionnaires now. The Legionnaires in the GT3 cars as well here. Toby Yao is currently in first place, but guess who's in first place in this race? It's Daniel Moderno. In that Lamborghini, you can see him 7th place overall, 1st place in class, with, who did I say was quick? Kyle Easton. Kyle Easton, 3rd place in the standings, 2nd place in class, and 9th place overall in today's race. There you can see him in 9th place at number 87, Mercedes. And where is their class leader? Toby Yao. He's sitting down 19th overall. So not really up with those guys, not really his track, not really his weather maybe. Not his cup of tea, just not having a great day, but he will get it back. He'll get back to form by next race for sure, and he still has plenty of time for this race here, as we are just about to reach the halfway mark in a couple of laps. Probably by the end of this lap, we'll reach the halfway mark. So how many drivers have pitted? That's the big key here to see these split strategies so far. Drivers that have pitted are C. Flores, M. Alberts, Dykstra, Lenny Dykstra, we can see him coming out of the pit lane right now. Carl Murr is in right now. And then we've got Rustin, Sue, and JP Belanger have all made their stops. Dykstra comes out of the pit lane right now in that Audi. A great sounding engine, if I may add. Anyways, Kyle Easton, as we said, 2nd in class, 9th overall, under threat from Flecker behind in that Mercedes as well, the Rodney Flecker, who's really catching up here. These guys are still in the wet tires as the track is now damp, as you can see in that top right corner. So these tires are going to start to get really hot and start to overheat in a couple laps time, and this can cause major problems in braking, as it can cause lockups, and it can cause, almost if you get too hot, loss of grip. So that optimal temperature range changes per tire type that you use. If you use the wet tires, they have that lower operating temperature window, because they have, the wet tires, the wet track to deal with, so that's a lot cooler. It's cool water. And when it starts heating up and the track starts getting drier, they lose their grip, they lose their treads and all that a lot quicker, so the tire expires, is the way to say it, or the tire runs out of grip a lot faster. This can cause lockups, understeer, and even oversteer if it gets super bad, especially in those high-speed corners. But we'll see him coming on a straight here, and this last corner as they gum through it. Is he close enough to go for a move here? I don't know. He's in the draft. He might try and pull it off. Moves out to the side. They're side by side on the brakes. He has the inside line, and he's going to take that place from Easton. Good overtake. Solid pass. Easton trying to fight it back around this long right-hander. Will he make it happen into the next corner here? Really pushing to get every single inch on him. Into the right-hander now, under the brakes, and he goes a bit deep. Maybe trying to go for an over-under, really get a really good exit here and pull back in before they have to brake again, but I don't think it's going to work. Not from that range, at least. As we carry on, who is that ahead? That is Sean Vision getting out the way here. Being a respectable racer, seeing those blue flags. We respect you for that one, Sean. Maybe his tires starting to overheat. So we have some guys up inside the top 10 now boxing. Or now boxing as we see it gets drier. The number 78, 787 of Rivera, the 71 of Dube, the number 1 of Kapelke, and the number 711 from Burr and Smith and Rodman, Birade, Yao, Flores, Reed, Collins, Fender, Alberts are the new ones that we've seen pit. So there's more people that have not pitted yet that have not pitted yet than have. Those people include the top 8, already in the top 8. Skylar Levernick, Gonzalez, Jimmy, Moderno, Flecker, Easton, Portis, Alves. Have all not pitted yet. Another one that hasn't pitted that just entered is Jay De La Paz. He just entered the pit lane, and so his stop will come in up soon. Let's take a look at these guys that have not boxed yet. How are they doing? Skylar Levernick in first place as they come around sector 2 now. Will they box this lap? I assume yes, as we just hit the halfway mark of the race, and the track is getting drier. Maybe trying to switch straight to a dry tire and see how it works here, getting that track just a bit more dry to get a bit more grip and a bit by a lap newer tire. Like I said, fuel is mandatory in this race in these pit stops here. Tires are optional. So, do you take the 5 extra seconds in the pit stall to get those new tires? I think you have to right now because everybody's on those wet or intermediate tires here. So you have to really change tires unless you want to try and run these to the end, which I don't think is wise, especially with no current weather on the radar. And Skylar Levernick does box this lap. Track level is still damp, but he will go to soft tires, I presume, as the track will only get drier and drier. With Skylar boxing, Gage Gonzalez takes the lead. Anybody else box behind him? Doesn't seem like it. I'm Not Jimmy does not box. So Skylar Levernick box, but Alves has a 30-second stop go. Where did this come from? What happened? Let's see if we can find him on track here. Here he is. Juan Alves doesn't have any severe damage. What could that penalty be for? Maybe too many track extensions or track cuts here. Flecker boxes. Flecker in that top 8 now boxes as well, following in Levernick. But Juan Alves has another 30-second stop go penalty. He's already completed his pit stop. It just adds on to it. That sucks, man. You gotta go back into the pit lane with the penalty. Not fun. Anyways, the top 3 at the moment have not boxed. It's Gonzalez, I'm Not Jimmy, and Moderno. Easton now in the top 4 as well as not boxed, and KP in 5th has not boxed. Everybody below him is either in the pit or has already boxed. Skylar Levernick had just boxed and comes out P6. We'll see how his tires do on this outlap here, as the track is greasy now. Not damp, just greasy. So I believe this is the last to box. If you haven't boxed already, you have to box now, or these guys on these dry compound tires are just going to catch up. Obviously, they have to make adjustments. They have to warm up the tires, and they have to get used to this track with this tire compound and still being a little bit damp, a little bit wet out there, greasy as it says on screen. They have to make adjustments. But Rivera, who boxed earlier than Levernick, the overcut or the undercut has worked. He's ahead. So that really signifies to the guys ahead to box now. As Gage Gonzalez is in the pits. I'm not Jimmy's in the pits. Does Moderno hop in the pits as well? Let's keep an eye on that scoreboard to see. I think if he doesn't, he's just going to lose too much time. He's trying to hold on to a hope that isn't there. Living on a prayer, but praying to nobody, and he does stay out. Kyle Easton comes in. KP Portes comes in. How will these guys, where will these guys come out, and how will these guys contend on their newer tires and a less wet track here? Rivera should overtake everybody in the pit lane at the moment, as Jimmy does now come in. My apologies for that one. But Moderno did not come in yet. He holds first place. Anyways, Rivera gets past everybody but Gage Gonzalez, and he's going to race him as they come down here. Let's take a look on camera. How far away is him? And he's going deep on those cold tires. Oh, man. He had the slight advantage from that overcut, and he just tossed it away going deep there. And now he's on that wet line. Struggle bus. He's on board. Anyways, he comes out in 4th place overall. Rivera in 2nd, Sky Levenick in 3, and Gonzalez in P4 overall and P3 in class. These guys were in close proximity earlier in the race, and now are back in there, but in swap positions. As Gage Gonzalez sat pole, he sits in the bottom of this pack. Ricardo Rivera sat side by side, or in 3rd place, and is now in the lead of this pack. And Skylar Levernick, who was 2nd in overall, is now 2nd in this pack with these guys, but he's going to go for a move here. And he makes the move into really not an overtaking opportunity, just sticks it in there, sticks the nose in, and goes for it. Great move there by Levernick. Good confidence, too, in that Bricks Racing 52 Ferrari. Murdano hops in the pit lane this lap. These guys all in close proximity, looking like a snake moving as Levernick is trying to pull away, and it looks like he's going to do so. Let's see what we can see from behind him here. Rivera and Gage Gonzalez. Not quite close enough to make a move, I think, this lap. Man, does that McLaren sound nice, though. In that slipstream, he's going to brake, not going for any crazy moves here, no crazy lunges. He's going to concede, get his tires warmed up, and then go. Go, 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 attack. Moderno, though, in the pits. Where will he come out? We don't know, but as of right now, Skylar Levernick is your race leader. Everybody has made their stop. We are just about at 15 minutes left to go. Almost to that final 10 minutes, that final stretch. As we head down to 15 minutes, we have Skylar Levernick going past some lap cars here in the form of the Aston Martin number 50. Definitely not making it easy for him here, but he's going to get past in the braking zone. And then Ricardo Rivera gets past on the inside pretty cleanly, pretty quick. So that might have gained him a couple of seconds or tenths of a second on Skylar Levernick. Ricardo or Gage Gonzalez has to be behind. Oh, he's going to make a lunge now. That's definitely going to cost him time. So the three-headed snake is now divided into a 1.5 headed snake there. Ricardo Rivera inching farther and farther away as Skylar Levernick goes faster and faster with the fastest lap. Now they have clean air, though. These guys battle out in clean air. Can everybody else set a fastest lap and improve and get some extra points? Looking through the field here, you've got Dykstra, who's one of the first guys to box, in that early group, that undercut group, and it's turned out well for him. He was in last place, is where he qualified, but now has moved up 3 positions just off the undercut and some overtakes on track, which is good, and he's closing in that gap a little bit to De La Paz. As you can see, he had in that number 50 Aston Martin. Taking a look at Christian Dube here in 4th place. It's been a pretty boring race for him. Not under threat from behind for a couple laps now, and not anybody to attack. But he's just running, setting his pace, being consistent in 4th place, which will be happening here. Kevin Kabelke, who was involved in an incident with the top 4, and dropped all the way down to, I believe, 13th place was the place, has fought his way back up 5th overall and 5th in class for that Legionnaires, or for the Centurions class. My apologies. I'm still new here, guys. I'm still trying to learn all the names and all that. Anyways, following behind him is I'm Not Jimmy in that pink Lamborghini we just saw in the background here. We'll switch to it. Now, as you see that pink with the blue rims, the number 69 Lamborghini. Heading to the braking zone here towards the end of Sector 2. But here we see, I see some really close numbers here. And yes, I do see that correctly, as it's KP going to make a move on Kyle Easton. Separate classes fighting right now, but they are both very quick drivers and very competitive. KP, though, makes the move look easy. Good dive there. Great racecraft, as he saw the opportunity, took it, and made it very clean, very efficient on the track. Good overtake, all in all. Another group of cars that's pretty close is Flores to the racer ahead of Burr. Not too close, but definitely inching closer, and that's what racing's all about. It's 1 inch at a time, it's 1/10 at a time, it's 1/100 at a time, it's 1 corner at a time. So closing that gap is how you're gonna get an overtake. You gotta close that gap, set your consistent laps, and just keep moving forward. Another close gap here is this gap between Pino and JP Belanger. Once again, separate classes fighting it out here, as we're going to ride along with Pino, who's defending. Oh, they make contact. JP's around. JP's around. If you take a look at that top mirror, JP spins around. They made contact, and it sent JP sideways. Not fun, not good. JP now going to try and close it right back up to Vincent. Sean Vincent has taken advantage of JP falling through the ranks after that spin. So we're going to take a look at a rundown of the standings as they are currently. In first place, we have Skylar Levenick. In second place, Ricardo Rivera. In third place is Gage Gonzalez for your Centurions class. Now heading on to Legionnaires, we've got Moderno, Flores, and Easton, your top 3 in that order. The podium positions have been filled, that gold, silver, and bronze. Moving on to P4 in the Legionnaires class, it's Flecker. P5, Rodman. P6, Sean Collis. P7, Alberts. P8, Fender. P9, Yao. P10, Berdani. And that rounds out your top 10. Top 10 for your Centurions are Levernick, Rivera, Gonzalez, that podium 3. Dube in 4th. Kapelke in 5th. I'm Not Jimmy in 6th. Burr in 7th. Portis, KP in 8th. Smith in 9th. And Reed in 10th. Those 2 Lamborghinis in a little bit of a pack of their own. Not too close, not too far from each other and everybody else. We see this gap really close between Sean Carlos and Alberts. Alberts has damage on his front, it seems, but he's still trying to go for the overtake here. And that wide right-hander really make a move here in this lap. Let's take a look. We're right on board with him. No, it doesn't really be close enough. Look close enough to make a move here, and Collis seems to be running away. So we'll go ahead and see if we can find another close gap in the field. This one seems to be really close. It is Flores and Portis KP on somebody right now. Let's see if we can find that for you guys. Who is he behind? It is a McLaren. Is it Flores? No. Oh, he has overtaken Flores. That's what it was for. Good move as he's climbing his way through the ranks now. Really putting on a good show. Closing in on Burr as well. Really adjusting well to the Strider track. And the better it gets. Right now the track is fast. Not quite optimal, but it is fast. As we take a look, Rivera has taken the fastest lap away from Levernick. But here he is. He's gaining from 9.9 tenths of a second away to 9.3 and now to 7 as they get out of Sector 1. Absolutely blistering pace here coming from KP. Acura performing well, gaining on that McLaren as we head around the left hairpin in Sector 2. Heading to this left-right chicane, not really an overtaking opportunity, but a fast one where we can make up lots of time. Here we go, to the left, touch the curb, on the power, to the right, get as much of the curb as you can, on the power, and he is right up on the back of him now as I head around the fast right-hander. On the power, on the grind, in that draft. He's going to go to the outside here. Flies right past them, blistering pace, maybe a lower downforce setup there, going for more of a top speed and low drag, but whatever it is working as he climbs his way up to another position. 8th overall, 6th or 7th in class. Drive-through penalty now handed out to Sean Buderi. And that number 20 McLaren, maybe for a little bit of too much track extending, too much track cutting is my guess. Anyways, there is Glenn Pena with Skylar Levernick right on his heels. Pena had a great race last week for his class. Let's take a look at just how close they are. They're close enough where Skylar's going for an overtake right now, and he gets it done easily. On the brakes, into the corner, and through. Good pass there. Make it clean. Or go home, as we like to say here in Gonzalez Racing League. Here is Gonzalez, though, who is trying to close that gap to Rivera. Right now an 8/10th of a second gap, as you see there on screen. Let's listen to this McLaren as we go through this final couple of corners. Whoa, evasive action taken there as he has to avoid the lapped car. Man, was that close. Anyways, he moved that gap down by 200ths of a second, trying to get it down more. The lap car might cost him as we head here to Sector 2 to check the timing sheets. Yeah, it did cost him. It almost cost him a full second, about half a second, maybe even 3/4 of a second there. Let's go ahead and find you guys a gap. And I think I found one, a small little gap here between cars. It's between Flecker and Easton. These guys fighting for position in class. In the draft here, Ron D. Flecker. 5/10 of a second back, half a second back here as they break. He has that damage on the front end as well. Listen to that Mercedes downshift. What a good sound here. Seems to get really close in that first part of the corner, but doesn't quite get the exit that he was looking for here. We'll go ahead and take a look at the timing sheets. Once they pass this line into Sector 2, they will update for us. You can see that line as it appears on the track map on the right-hand side. That little line through the track is that, and he has closed it by 3/10 of a second. It is now a 2/10 gap. It was 5, and he is right up on him. Will he go for a move here? He holds that inside. No. Concedes. Goes for the racing line. taking them down shifts, getting a little bit more inside than Easton does. Could that be the reason he is gaining on Easton? On the brakes into this left right-hander here. Easton seems to get a bit of a way here in Sector 2. Maybe a stronger sector compared to Flecker's time. Flecker, though, might be quicker in Sector 1 and or Sector 3, or both, or why not all three? We don't know exactly. Anyways, to the left now here in this tight left-hander, hard on the brakes, down to the gears, get that inside curb, get on the power, get that outside curb, and hit it right back to the left, brake, right back to the right. Flecker is 0.4 of a second back. He has lost time through Sector 2. Can he get it back here in Sector 3 and down the front straight into Sector 1? Does not seem to get an amazing exit here, as we'll get the refresh that they cross that checkered striped line there. He is 0.7 back now. So it seems Easton is gaining or pulling away here. But look at this gap here. It's Reed side by side with Smith. Both of them fighting for position in the Centurion's class. Reed gets by under the brakes. Good move. Up to P13 overall. And P9 in class. But here is this gap. Pit window is now closed. We have 2 minutes left to go in this race here. It's Flecker right back on Easton here. The gap back down to 1/10, almost 2/10. What happened? Did he make a mistake? Or Easton just knocked on the power early enough? Maybe have a bit of a slide? We don't know. But what we do know is this gap is close and it's intense. Do that right-hander on the power. The track still remains fast. It's not hit optimal yet. Will it hit optimal for the race? I don't think so. Unlikely. Here we are to this hard braking. He's going to jet out to the inside, to the outside, trying to make it go around. Maybe get a switchback. What does he go for? It looks like he's going for a switchback. Covered off really well, though, by Easton. Back on the power now. After that right-hander into the sharp right-hander into the hairpin. On the power, pedal to the metal, as some will say. It's a 4/10 gap, so Easton is closing or is expanding that gap in sectors 2 and 3, but it's really getting closed during sector 1. Here they go into the braking zone. Will Flecker make a move? No, he concedes. Here he goes to the right. Here we go. Oh no! Somebody spins ahead of them. I believe that's Gage Gonzalez. Who was that? No, it's Carl Murrer in P26 at the moment. But Matthew Reed looking for one of them to make a mistake right here. It won't be a gain of position in class, but it'll gain a position in on track overall. So hoping to make a move there. Final lap here. Flecker will have one more opportunity to make this thing happen, and it looks like Levernick is running away with it. Almost a 5-second gap from him and Rivera. It seems he will get the lead or the win if he does not make any mistakes here. So consistent so far for him as well. P2 in both races, and now P1 with a big gap. Way to put in the work and way to be quick. Oh no, but it's going to see Easton goes a bit wide. Flecker trying to go around the outside. Who's going to be last on the brakes? We don't know. Here he comes in the braking zone. Reed's in there too. It's a three-way fight. It's a three-way fight. Going aggressive here as we have just one more lap to go after they come through down to the checkered stripe, and we hit the white flag. Reed overtakes Flecker. Now looking to overtake Easton as well. To the right, or to the left, to the right now. Call it the cha-cha slide on the power here. To the right, wide open on the throttle. In the draft. Will he get close enough? Trying to break the draft as Easton goes in the marbles a little bit, but now they're side by side here as we head into the braking zone. Let's see what it looks from the onboard as he's on the brakes later. Oh, and they touch! They touch! Oh, no! 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 Ken Smith goes around. Oh no, that wasn't Ken Smith. That was, I believe it to be Easton that went around. It is Easton. Oh man, trying to defend and just gets over. It just gets overtaken with some contact, and it spins him right around like a record, baby. Right round, right round. Anyways, the top three have finished the race. The results are Levernick P1, Rivera P2, Gonzalez P3. Dube now come around the final corner to finish out this race. And he's going to take home P4 as you see him cross that checkered line. Congratulations to Dube. Skylar Levernick also has the fastest lap to mention. Not any super close gaps here as we look for a fight on the final lap. All pretty spread out here. Maybe this is the closest that we got. Flores just seems out of touch for Bird. Luckily, it's not for class, though, so he will still hold on to second in class. Congratulations to Flores. Berderno wins today for the Legionnaires class. Well, congratulations to him. P7 overall, P1 in class. P3 in that Legionnaires class is Flecker in that Mercedes, number 484. Congratulations to all the racers today. A good race, a good show, a couple of incidents, a couple of crashes, but still a fun one nonetheless. A couple of drivers that have not finished are Fender and Yao. And they are close, but just not enough time for Yao to make the overtake. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings after this race, or the results after this race. As we can see, for the Legionnaires class, P1 Moderno, P2 Flores, P3 Flecker, P4 Easton, P5 Rodman, P6 Collis, P7 Alberts, P8 Fender, P9 Yao, P10 Pena, P11 Beardy, P12 Vincent, P13 De La Paz, P14 Dykstra, P15 Maurer, P16 Rustin, P17 Alves, and P18 2. Moderno with a dominant lead here. As you can see, that 13-second gap at the end of the race. Great job to him today. Now let's take a look at the Centurons class. With the fastest lap and the win, it's Skylar Levernick. In second place, it's Ricardo Rivera. In third place, it's Gonzalez. Fourth place, Dube. Fifth place, Kapelke. After that incident, good way to fight back and get a P5. In sixth place, Jimmy. Seventh place, it's Portis, KP. In in eighth place, it's Burr. In ninth place, it's Reed. And in 10th place, it's Smith. And 11th, JP Belanger. Congratulations everybody in this race once again. I hope you guys have a good night. And once again, shout out to our sponsors, SimGrid and Advanced Sim Racing. SimGrid is what we use to keep track of all of our point standings, and you can see the schedule up on that site. All you have to do is go to SimGrid, and type in the search bar Zealous Racing League. Don't forget to join our Discord. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter to keep up on all things Zealous Racing League. Thank you guys. Have a great night. I'll see you next week, Thursday or Tuesday. Alright, I'm heading out, guys. Good night. Have a good one. And please remember to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and join the Discord for all things Zealous Racing. We will be back next Tuesday for the next race of